Alright, so this is the walkthrough for the best farming spot ever in Diablo 3. I use a mage, and I'll be showing you where to go and the quickest route through. It's pretty much a straight line, so there's not a whole lot to it. So step 1 is to change your quest. You're going to go to Act 3, number 7, and the second quest in there called the Second Heart. You can set your monster power level to whatever you want. I have it to 2 right now, and we'll start a new game, and we'll enter in there. So for this farming run, I'm going to be using my mage. It is probably the best geared character I have. I'm sitting at 100, a little over 100k DPS. Magic Find is pretty low though. We're only at 74% as a base. I'm only at paragon level 8, but obviously these runs will help with that over time. So basically, you're just going to start off at the waypoint. Remember, we started at the quest called the Second Heart, and we're going to take a trip to the Cursed Tower, level 1. And my method of farming is just to use the mage as a blizzard spell and Hydra, and you can just kite pretty much everything as you go along. I use the archer, whatever you call him, friend, to pick up my slack, and he gives a little extra DPS with the crit. So we'll just move through these quests. Basically, your goal is to get from here to the second boss of Act 4 as quickly as you can. There's enough elite packs in between that you should have 5 stacks of Nephilim Valor before the spider boss here and before Azmodan here at least. So end up with about 7 or 8, sometimes 9 or 10 elite packs with 4 bosses, 2 of which have a really high chance to drop pattern. So really quick, really efficient farming run. So there's not a whole lot to this. It's a straight line. You can't really go the wrong way. So I'm going to fast forward a bit and show you guys sort of where you should be at the boss fights. But you're just going to follow these circles around. There's only one way to go, and you're just going to keep heading down until you bump into a boss. Okay, so not quite to a boss yet. We're on the second level of the of this quest, sort of, or this tower that we're walking through. Just wanted to give everyone an idea of the types of enemies that you'll be running into. So we have these creepy little guys who run up the sides and jump at us. They'll come throughout the top levels of the tower. We're going to have the succubuses that shoot these orbs at you that kind of follow you around. Those are pretty standard through the next little bit. Then there's sort of the half goat, half man mobs that throw spears at you, and then they're tougher cousins that are just like a little bit more goat, I think, and they just walk up to you and try and kill you. There's also some caster mobs, again in the goat human family, and those are pretty deadly, so just keep an eye out for them. But nothing too surprising. You'll have a few range mobs, a few melee mobs. Just deal with them as you normally would. I'm going to finish around this circle, and then we'll be at our first boss, and I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like. Alrighty, so here we are coming up on the first boss in the farming run. Where I currently have 3 stacks of Nephilim Valor, so in those 2 levels I've run into 3 elite packs, and we've gotten, 4 yellows and all these blues. My bags are empty before I started the run, so pretty good haul so far. I'm going to kill this boss quickly, skip the cinematic, and just show you how I do it as a mage, just in case anyone's wondering, but pretty straightforward stuff. Literally just pop my armor so that it can't hit me, and just DPS it until it dies from it. So pretty straightforward. There's going to be the little spiders that it summons throughout, so just move away from those, put a blizzard on them. I was fortunate enough to have a legendary offhand that gives me a little more time on my blizzard, so it really makes parts like this a lot easier. Sidea has run away, kind of retracted herself, so we're just going to kite these things around for a while and just keep dropping blizzards in our path, and as they walk towards you they just die. So very straightforward fight, very easy. Monster power 2 is not difficult at all, so just be safe, just stay away from mobs and don't let them hit you. My build is very much sort of glass cannon-y. That's kind of an insult to the rigidity of glass though, so I die really easily. So here's Sidea dropping, and we've got, another 2 yellows? Demonic Essence doesn't count, so another yellow, and then we'll continue going. Okay, so in the next area I'll show you what sort of enemies to expect between here and Azmodan, and then we'll take a look at killing Azmodan. Okay, so this is the first location that you end up in after killing Sidea. the spider boss. So in here we're going to run into some different types of enemies. So we'll have these teleporting dual-wielding axe guys, which are a bit of a pain, the hulking phase beasts. We're going to run into a lot of smaller sort of spider-like guys, scorpions they look like. We'll still have succubuses, so just treat them the same. And we'll also have the massive, big, chubby guys with the big weapons that will totally one-shot you. So just watch out for them. Oh, here's an elite pack that we will just kite back and kill. The beautiful thing about the build that I have is that it's basically just don't stand still. Just keep moving backwards, planting a Hydra, and putting down a Blizzard, and then as they walk through it, they kind of kill themselves. So, and Paragon level 9, ding, yay. So I'm just going to deal with these mobs. The next level down has Azmodan in it, so we are very close to Azmodan. I'll show you that fight as a mage. Quickly before we get to Azmodan, I've just gotten another pack of elites, so that's my second on this level, and my bags are full for the first time. So I just wanted to give you an idea for how quickly your bags will fill up doing this if you're picking up blues and yellows, and I wanted to give you a visual of it before I clear out my bag. So I'm going to go clear my bag out, then I'm going to head down to Azmodan and we'll pick it up from there. So we've reached Azmodan. I'm about to skip the scene here, and then I'm going to show you how I sort of deal with him as a mage. Very straightforward, again, simple. We're just going to put down the Hydra and just spam Blizzard on him, and then as soon as Blizzard has used up all of the arcane power, we're just going to start wanding him. So it's pretty straightforward. Dodge the fireballs unless you're a class that can handle getting hit by them. Let your scoundrel or whoever you have with you take the hits if he needs to. So right around 60, I think it's 75% actually, he starts to cast these ground splotches where they'll expand out. So just don't stand in those and continue to dodge the fireballs. And if you need to, you can teleport out, you can pop your armor like I just did there, just to keep yourself safe and alive. And then we'll start walking a little bit further away because it's getting a little congested up there. Just keep that Hydra down and you'll see his health just continue to go down as the Hydra does its work. So very easy boss to kill, not too much work on our part, and we'll go and collect our loots. There he goes. Still throwing fireballs at us though. So another, what, 4 yellows? So not bad at all. So we've done 2 of the 4 bosses. Our next step is going to be, to go to Act 4, and we're going to kill the first 2 bosses in Act 4. So I'm going to finish up these quests, head back to town, and move on to Act 4, and then we'll pick it up in Act 4. Alright, so here we are in Act 4. The run used to end after Azmodan, because if you tried to come to Act 4, you would lose your Nephilim Valor stacks, but luckily, Blizzard has changed that, and you no longer lose the stacks in between acts. So we're going to go ahead and kill the first boss here. Again, very easy from the perspective of a mage. We just put down our Hydra, put down some blizzards around us, everywhere kind of in a circle, pop some armor, and then when the boss comes, which should be just right now, yeah, there he is, we just kind of kite around. And he will die from walking through the blizzards, and so will the little guys kind of following us. They'll give us health orbs if we need it, or, I mean, you can use your teleport, your armor, your potions, whatever you need to do to stay alive. But just remember to keep kiting him around in circles, and he will die on his own from walking through our blizzards. So we'll just finish this guy up here, and oh, there he comes, and he's dead. So here we go. There's some plans. So these are the bosses that have a pretty good chance of dropping plans. So see here we got razor spikes of dexterity. So some pretty awesome level 60 or eye level 63 bracers with a ton of dexterity on them. So we're gonna clear out the next area, which is just up here. When you go through this door, you always head straight up and to the left, and this is the only floor we're going to be on. When you get to the very end of the left, you'll go into the Library of Fate, and you will kill the last boss that we are going to do during this run. So I'm going to go ahead and clear up to there, and I'll start recording again when we get to that. So we're in Act 4, and I forgot that I wanted to tell you a little bit about the enemies that you will see. So we've got some different ones. Here's the first set of elites, and they're probably going to kick the crap out of me because they do this charge. But they're called oppressors, big gargoyle-looking guys with big maces, and they hurt a lot. Luckily you have some angels helping you out for the first little bit, but I'm just going to be kiting them and making them walk through Blizzard until they hopefully die before I do. We'll see. Teleport out of here. Oh, and so that's one type of enemy. You'll get more kind of creepy little guys that crawl around on the ground. What else is in this level? Oh, there's like some half cat, half human guys that throw bombs at you. And then a few types of guys who drop from the sky. So these are their corpses here, but they almost look like chunks of rock when they first fall down from the sky, and then they open up and they come after you. So that's the majority of guys you'll face here. This is a very short little part of the run for us. We're just going up here and to the left. Oh, look at that, succubuses too. We're just going up here and to the left into the Library of Fate, and that's the end of the run. So now you have a little bit of a heads up for the enemies you'll encounter, and like I said before, I'll catch up with you at the boss. Alright, here we are at the Library of Fate, the very last boss that we will be killing. My bags are about, what, a little under half full again. So we've cleared them once. We're working on our second fill. Remember, my magic find is really low for doing gear farming, so if you have a good magic find set, you'll definitely pick up more than I have. But let's kill this guy. I'm going to show you sort of how I kill him. He's got basically just two abilities. One where he goes up in the air and shoots these discs of nonsense at you, and a second where he goes up in the air and then teleports next to you. The third thing that he does, which isn't really his ability, but he summons two ads, just like these guys here, and they just need to be killed. So there's his teleport next to me. Just keep a Hydra near him and keep blizzarding on top of him. Very simple boss to kill, and he's got a really good chance to drop more patterns, which is a really easy way to get some really good gear if you can get a pattern or two. So let's finish this guy up. We'll take a look at what we get, and then that's the end of our farming run. So you can continue to reset if you're finding, monster power level 2 a little bit too easy. You can go up to 3, 4. The run's always the same no matter what the monster power level. It may just take you a little bit longer, or it may go a little quicker if you decide to go easier. Overall runtime, you're looking at probably about a half hour to complete the full run. Maybe a little bit less once you get sort of used to it, get it down. But there's the end here. We got 3 more yellows. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, just post them in the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But enjoy the run.